There comes a moment when a life changes forever. They called him dangerous. They said he'd attack without warning. They begged him not to take the dog home, but he did it anyway. And what happened next changed everything. At the shelter, they called him Ghost, a big German shepherd, all bone and muscle. His gray-black fur was marked with white scars, his ears pinned back, his eyes so cold they made some staff look away. They kept his kennel at the very end of the corridor, away from visitors. No "Adopt me" sign, just a yellow warning that read, "Caution, aggressive, do not enter." People whispered stories about him. They said Ghost had lunged at handlers, shredded leashes, and bitten 2 volunteers so badly they needed stitches. No one wanted him. Many believed he'd never leave that shelter alive. Jack was 32, quiet, calm, a paramedic who'd seen far too much pain in other people and in himself. He hadn't planned on adopting a dog that day. He'd only come to drop off some blankets he'd collected for the shelter. But as he was leaving, he passed the last kennel, and a pair of pale eyes stared back at him. Watchful, haunted. The sign read Ghost. Jack read it twice, and something deep inside him whispered, "I know that look." A staff member named Maria hurried over. "Please don't go near him. Ghost, he's dangerous. We've even thought about, putting him down." Jack didn't move. His voice was quiet. "Why is he like this?" Maria sighed, looking defeated. "He came from a dog-fighting ring. He was a bait dog, used to train the fighters. Chained up, beaten. We've tried everything, but he's unpredictable." Jack kept staring through the bars. Ghost stared back, silent and trembling. Maria lowered her voice. "Please, don't get your hopes up. We'd rather spare you the heartbreak." Jack nodded slowly, but inside the decision was already made. 2 days later, Jack returned to the shelter with a crate, and he signed the adoption papers. Maria's hands shook as she handed him Ghost's file, a thick folder stamped with one word in red letters: dangerous. "Are you sure?" she asked, her eyes full of worry. Jack simply nodded. They muzzled Ghost for the ride home, but Ghost didn't bark. He just sat there, trembling, as if he was waiting for pain. At Jack's house, Jack crouched low and whispered, "No one's going to hurt you here." He slowly unlatched the muzzle. Ghost hesitated, then stepped carefully inside. That first night was chaos. Ghost paced the house in endless circles, whining, growling at shadows, refusing to eat. At 2 in the morning, he lunged at a floor lamp, sending it crashing to the floor. But Jack didn't yell. He stayed silent because he recognized terror when he saw it. "I'm not your enemy. Not anymore." Jack sat on the floor for hours until Ghost finally collapsed, exhausted. Days turned to weeks. Ghost never barked, but he also never wagged his tail. Jack fed him gently by hand. He kept his voice soft, and he always left doors open so Ghost would never feel trapped. Then one night, Jack came home from a long shift. He was sitting on the couch, his head in his hands, exhausted, and he felt a sudden weight against his knee. It was Ghost, sitting beside him, leaning in just enough to touch. It wasn't trust, not yet, but it was the beginning. A month later, Jack decided to try the park. Evening was settling over the park. Children were playing on the swings, people were jogging around the path. Jack kept Ghost close on a strong leash and muzzle. People stared from a distance because everyone believed Ghost was dangerous. Suddenly, a woman's panicked voice rang out. "My child! Where's my child?" She was running frantically through the park. Her little boy was nowhere to be seen. Ghost instantly became alert. He lifted his nose into the air, sniffing the ground. Jack looked at him in surprise and said, "What is it, Ghost?" Ghost barked sharply and bolted in one direction. Jack chased after him. A short distance away, behind some bushes, the small boy lay on the ground. His foot was tangled in the swing's chain and he was crying. Ghost gently approached the boy. He touched the child's hand with his nose, as if to say, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." The woman came running over, tears streaming from her face. She stared at Ghost in shock. "Isn't this the same dangerous dog? He's saving my child." Jack laughed softly and said, "Sometimes the ones who look the scariest turn out to be the biggest heroes." Ghost simply stood there calm and silent, his eyes full of peace, as if he didn't need any praise at all.